Welcome. Today I'll be showing you how to clean an airsoft gun. First off, you'll need some plastic lubricant spray, some silicone grease, a small amount of microfiber cloth. I got mine from a glasses cleaning wipe, a chopstick, and there are a few additional parts that you can use but aren't exactly necessary, including some wax. This is quite filthy. Some bearing oil and some oil remover. Okay, first off you want to make sure that your gun is unloaded, which mine already is. It doesn't matter if there's a BB in the chamber, you can remove that later. So first you want to cock your airsoft gun. Now this is not universal for all Glock airsoft guns, this is just for my one. These two clips here, you want to pull both of them down as far as you can and pull back the slide. Pull it back and then push it forward. There you go. You'll now have two halves of a gun. We're going to start with the top side first. Okay, so we're going to start with the top side of the gun first. You want to push forward the recoil spring and just pull it out. It will pop out immediately. Everything will pretty much fall out. But don't worry too much, it's not a big deal if it does. So now we're going to have three parts. This is the outer barrel and the inner barrel, which you can remove by just pulling it backwards. Going to take them apart. And then we have the recoil spring as well. So we're only really going to want to focus on this thing right here. Now you want to go grab your microfiber cloth. And you just want to give it a really good clean. You can use your oil remover for this, but I've decided not to. Doesn't really matter, but if you want to give your gun the extra little bit of cleaning, I would recommend it. Okay, so now the outside clean, you want to look down the middle. See, I still have a pellet in there, so I'm going to get my chopstick and I'm just going to poke it out. You want to be quite careful. There we go. I can focus. Okay, now you're going to want to grab your silicone grease. You can use your oil remover for this as well before, but I don't think it's very necessary. So you want to spray some down the barrel. You want to aim it up as perfectly as possible. I'm going to do this off camera for ease. And now you just want to roll up the little microfiber cloth bit that you've cut up. Get the stick and just push it all the way down. Do it quite nice and slowly and turn the stick at the same time. Now you're going to want to do this as many times as you feel necessary. About 5 should do it. Alright, because I've recently cleaned my airsoft gun, I'm not going to do this for a while, just for the video ease. And now you have this barrel. You don't have to do a lot with this. If you want to be quite fussy and you bought the kit that I'm going to talk about later, you can wax up this barrel. It's not necessary, but you can if you want, and the top slide. I'd recommend washing your hands before you do any of this and after, because there's going to be a lot of oil that can get on your hands and clothes, and it stains. Alright. So now that you've done that, we're going to move on to the other half. Now for this, you are going to want some oil remover. It's not necessary, like I've said with everything else, but it really helps. So you just want to spray it in around the edges, and then you just want to give it a nice wipe. You don't have to focus in the middle, or you don't want to touch this. Don't bother about that. Just all along the edges along here. You see they have little grooves? That's quite important as well. You want to give that all a nice wipe. Really good clean. Okay. So this, you should probably clean it more than this, but I've cleaned my gun not too long ago, so I'm not going to do it. And now to put it back together, you're going to put the inner barrel back into the outer barrel. You want to make sure it lines up at the end and that it's flush. Now you're going to want to barrel in first and then slide it forward completely and then push it back. Now for the recoil spring. This one's a little bit tricky. It can be quite annoying sometimes, but it's not that hard. You want to just line up with a hole at the start. There's the barrel. And you just want to push it forward, push it down, and then line it up. See, we've completely reassembled the top part. Now onto the bottom. Okay, so you're going to want to put all the other things to a side, and now you have this. This isn't too complicated. If you haven't used your airsoft gun for very long, or you've cleaned it recently, it isn't too important to add the oil remover to this, but just add some extra lubricant with the silicone, plastic lubricant spray, sorry. Or the silicone grease. It doesn't really matter, even the PTFE grease, that will work perfectly as well. The bearing oil, that'll probably work as well. Oh, and if you're wondering, the bearing oil is used for this area here. Let me show you a sec. Pull the trigger. Pushes that forward. Now, I wouldn't recommend doing that when your airsoft gun is unassembled, because it makes it quite a lot harder to put it back on. So you just want to wipe all of this down with the oil remover if you have it, or not, and then just be quite generous with the silicone spray. So you're going to want to put it on all the little corners, especially where the slide rubs with the bottom area of the airsoft gun. So you can be quite generous with this. Too much is probably better than too little, although it can jam your gun in some instances if you use too much. So now, once you've completed all of that, you want to put the slide back on. You want to make sure these lined up really well, and you want to hold it down, put as much pressure as possible, and then push it back. If you start seeing your spring coming out, you know you're doing something wrong, which I'm currently doing here. Just want to give it a little movement. You want to pop it back over and over a few times, just to let the oil move around. And there you go. That should be perfect. Thank you for watching. And one part I forgot to go over. There is a really handy kit, the Nuprol, I think that's how you pronounce it, kit that you can buy online, airsoft cleaning kit. That's where I've got all these things, and I think it's the handiest little thing in the world. You get the wax, you get absolutely everything I've showcased in this video. Silicone grease. It's really, really handy. Bearing oil, absolutely everything. I think it's an absolute go-to kit if you're not 100% sure what you're going to get. So overall, thank you for watching, and I hope this helped anyone that's new to airsoft or just want to know how to clean their gun. But you have to make sure to always clean your gun regularly after you've been to a big match, or maybe just some target practice in the garden. But it's very important to maintain your airsoft gun. Thanks for watching.